Hello! As many of you may know, I am very new to German, and I still have some difficulties with speaking it fluently and being understood sometimes. But it seemed to me today that my biggest problem is holding on to my verb, being able to use the sentence bracket correctly in German. And so I thought to myself, why do I have so many difficulties? And then I realized to myself, you know, speaking language is just akin to thinking in it as well. That's what it says. But I guess it's just the order you have to recall things in your mind to make a correct sentence. Now, where the verb goes is going to depend on two things. It's going to depend on the type of verb it is and what type of sentence it is as well. There are only three possible places for the verb to go, and that's first place, second place, or at the end of the sentence. For the most part. There are a few exceptions. And so those are also divided. If we're going to look at the type of verb we're going to look at standard verbs today, modal verbs, and separable prefix verbs. Now there are a couple other type of verbs that will also require the sentence bracket, but we'll discuss that in another video. So we'll start with what I would call standard verbs. Gehen, springen, wohnen, go, jump, live. Easy, let's make a sentence. Ich gehe zum Arzt. I go to the doctor. Ich spring oben. I jump up. Okay, pretty easy, alright. So it's subject, verb, anything else you want to put behind it. Not too bad, and it goes pretty logically. But then we run into the modal verbs. And if you are familiar with them, you'll know that the modal verbs are verbs such as müssen, mögen, dürfen, können. And it requires a little bit of thought on the part of the English speaker. It's almost like you have to hold on to that little part of the verb to the end. Because if you use a modal verb, it goes subject, modal verb, the rest of the sentence, the actual verb. English, I must buy coffee. I must buy coffee. German, no. I must Kaffee buy. Ich muss Kaffee kaufen. And you have to get very, very used to this because it's going to be in most sentences, because most sentences are just going to be simple, like I have fish, I like tea, whatever. Familiar with some of these? These can be a little tricky at times. Some examples are anmelden, Übernehem, abholen, log in on the internet, of course, take over, and pick up. I pick him up. Okay, said it. I, subject, pick him, okay, up. Okay, you pick him up. Same thing though as in English, so I don't know why it's so hard. Okay? Ich hole ihm ab. I pick him up. Let's take a more difficult sentence now. I log in at YouTube. Okay? I log in at YouTube. Okay, not in German. Ich melde bei YouTube on. A little more difficult than I pick him up, but now when you start adding the modal verbs though, you have to change that. So ich muss Jacob übernehmen. Ich muss whatever übernehmen. Ich nehme das Uber. Now, when do the verbs go first in the sentence? Well, that's going to be with questions, but only yes and no questions. For other questions, you want to use a question word and then complete the sentence normally. Okay. Where did you buy that beer? Wo. Where? Hast du. Second place, hast. Then subject you. Das Bier gekauft. You notice too that the sentence structure also works for the perfect tense, the past tense of German, which would be the equivalent of I have bought that beer. I have seen that movie. So that's usually used in the conversation form. Now, if it's a yes or no question, you can use the question first. Okay? Do you have a cat? Hast du eine Katze? Hast du eine Katze? Well, I hope that's been helpful in some way to someone. And until the next time I get this crazy idea to do another video. Auf Wiedersehen.